Hi guys. So I'm back. I'm gonna do a card pool reading. Um, so we're gonna do it on JonBenet today. I have done one reading on her on live, but I don't do live readings anymore for various reasons. So I may do an Autowrite or another reading to get more clarification on that one because I haven't got to revisit it yet, and I wanted to revisit it. I feel like DNA, is going to play a huge factor in that. That's what came in the reading. But as you guys know, I'm just doing cards to sort of validate the readings, get a little more clarification, maybe a little extra information. It doesn't mean that I need the cards, but tools are always good. They're an extension of you. So there's nothing wrong with using tools as something extra to get a clearer picture and a bigger picture. It doesn't mean that you need them or anything like that. It's just something that Spirit's been pushing me to do, and I always listen to Spirit. So I may not interpret the cards right or perceive them right. I try my best to do that intuitively. Um, but I may misperceive or misunderstand what the cards are saying, but I am just trying to go by what kind of comes to me in regards to it. These cards are sort of straightforward. I pull them a certain way. It may not be the way that everybody else does it, but it's the way that I do it. And it's the way that I am being led to do it. I've never had any training with it, but it's just more an intuitive thing. Um, so again, I will always take my readings as most important because it's always from spirit, but I do channel in spirit as I shuffle these cards. I do look at a picture of the victim. I do bring in their energy, and even the cat ball went off when I was doing it. So they're still present during this time. And again, any type of tool is an extension of you. So this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. And again, like I don't have a great setup right now, but I'm working on that. So hopefully by next week we'll have a better camera, so you guys can see the cards more, or we can be a little bit more technologically advanced. But until then, I like to pre-shuffle and um pre put out the cards. That's how I like to do it right now. It might change in the future, but as of now, that's how I like to do it. Um, so I'm just gonna show you the cards, and then I'm going to tell you how I feel they make sense, okay? I didn't have to pull any missing cards, so I pulled a little extra of those surrounding the case. So I'm going to go through and I will explain to you just like in the other. Now I'm going to tell you how I sort of interpret these cards in my opinion. Um and again, alleged for entertainment purposes only. And this is how I am perceiving it. Okay. So, basically we have murder and imprisonment. So, that kind of speaks for itself because you can take the imprisonment card as it happened in the house. Didn't need to pull too many of those cards because we already kind of know what happened. So I'm gonna read these ones last because that's the outcome, but that's just the only place I had to put them. So, or one to the second to the last. So then we have the person involved. Okay, this is how I take this. Terrorism, good guy, aliens, rival, parental figure. So I take this is what a terrorist, which is how they keep bringing in the bad people is terrorist or terrorism. It doesn't necessarily mean like it's like terrorism of the world. It means like they're just that type of person. They're terrorism. That's how I'm taking it. But they put on this front as a good guy because it's the terrorism card is next to the good guy. So, you know, pretends to be a good guy but is actually a terrorist. An alien, so you could take that a couple ways. Aliens could be, now it's interesting because I did get like a Spanish descent kind of thing. You can take it as that, or you can take it as someone that um actually was maybe alienated, because next to that is the rival card and the parental figure. So this feels like I don't take this in any way that this is the parents. I never felt the parents were involved. I know a lot of people might go against me on that, but that's always been my feeling. I saw somebody break into the house. I saw what I saw. There was stuff that came in that reading that was out there that I had no idea about. Because actually I try to stay away from cases, and I was never really into the JonBenet case like a lot of other people were. So I take this as the way that the cards are laid out, is this is a rival to the parental figure, to the mom and the dad. Or at least it says parental figure and then the mom is next to it. So, or a female. So parental figure female, so I take that as a mom or a wife, but it looks like it's a rival. So it's a terrorist that was a good guy that maybe was alienated in some way, but they have a rival. This is a rival, because the way it comes in is before the parental figure. So this is a rival towards the parental figure. Um, and then it says accomplice partner in crime, which kind of threw me because I got one person here and I've only seen one person, but that just might mean that somebody else knows about it or is aware of it in some way, shape, or form. But then we have the male reptilian success and friend. So this is a male that is actually a reptilian, or I always take the reptilian card as someone that's um, a bad dude. It comes in on all the dark reading, like all the darker people readings, that or the devil card usually comes in. So I take it as he's a snake. Okay, I just heard that, like he's a snake, and I got the chills with that. So he's a snake in the grass. So I think spirit wants me to take also that card like that, like it's someone that is, you wouldn't have suspected to do this because they're a snake in the grass and it's a male and they are a successful person or were a successful person and they were a friend of the family, but they're actually a rival. So something happened that ticked this guy off that made them a rival, um, is the way that it's coming across. And then I pulled the one person card. So that's how I take who's involved in this, is it was a terrorist who pretending to be the good guy that was maybe alienated or became kind of, maybe they weren't a friend anymore. Um, that was a rival to the parental figure female. But it can also be just the parental figure could also, this card could mean the dad and then the mom. So it could be a rival to both of them, in my opinion. Um, that was actually a snake in the grass that had some success and that was a friend of theirs. And then and then the one person card. So then we have, now I'm going to go into like the stuff behind it. So we have revenge. So I find that interesting because of the rival card that we pulled, that this was done in kind of a revenge type thing. And party is there. Wasn't there a party around the time that this happened? So it might have been someone that even attended the party. Um but it's definitely revenge, and then next to the revenge card is the party card. Then we have the staged. So in some way this was staged. We have secret. So there was a secret of some kind. So there might have been a secret that was in the family or that was between the parental figures, that there's some kind of secret there. We have egotism and we have sixth sense. So this person has a lot of ego. I still don't understand what that sixth sense card is. I think it just depends. Um, so I do definitely channel when I do this because I feel a little off. Like I am doing a reading. Um, so we have breakup by. So I take that as maybe they broke off the friendship or broke off a partnership or broke off some sort of sorry, they broke off some sort of relationship. Okay. Or it's next to the money card. So it could have broken off some sort of money business partnership because the person felt like they were loyal to them, but um, they feel like betrayed in a way because the loyal card is next to the money card. Then I'm not really sure I understand. So I'm not really sure. We have the paranormal card, happy, and DNA. So I know that there's DNA in some way, shape, or form because that came in the reading. That if they do the genetic DNA, they might come up with something. That came in the reading way back when, and then we found out that they finally were going to do that. So there's a happy card next to that. So maybe the fact that it's the DNA is a good thing. Then we have government. So there might be some sort of government tie here with the guy. We have trauma. So this person may have trauma from being pushed out and wanted to seek revenge in some way. Because when you have the stalking, so he was watching her and surveillance, so he might have even been watching her and the family. I do feel like they attended the party, were at the party, because that's in there. We have cleanup, so there was cleanup in some way, shape, or form. We have evidence, so there is evidence. I just think now the capabilities with evidence is a lot better. There's travel, so the person may have traveled or may traveled to the area, like doesn't. I can take this as maybe he doesn't live in the area and he traveled to that place. Um, and then we have the Saturn embezzlement card. So we know that the dad's a businessman. We know that there's money involved. It seems like there's a lot of money in this thing right here. So in this card reading, it seems like there's a lot of money because we have the embezzlement card, we have the greed card, um, and we have blackmail card over there. So there's definitely some kind of something that involved money with someone that they were seeking revenge over, probably a partnership that was dismantled, a partnership or friendship. But there's also a perversion but boner zone, so that means that obviously they still had a pull towards JonBenet in some way. That there's that perversion card. And if you read it this way, it's under the stalking card. And then we have the greed and investigation. So there is an investigation going on, as we know. They've kind of hyped it up a little bit lately with the DNA. But also there could be investigation into the money. I would investigate some sort of business dealings or things like that, because this comes across as someone that they knew that was a rival due to some sort of argument, breakup thing, something like that. That's the way that I'm reading the cards, and that's the way it's making sense to me, actually. It's sad that they took it out over a kid, but I mean, there's still the perversion zone or perversion card. So there still was perversion involved in this, but it comes across as revenge. Revenge from a rival. But something had happened because, well, I'll tell you this, because it says that they need to interview more suspects because maybe they don't have the suspect or they never interviewed them, because I feel like they were really focused in one area for one time as the rest of the world on the parents, but I've never gotten the parents in this. I know it was a shady situation, but it's never come across to me that, like, so don't shoot me for that. Like, don't shoot the messenger. That's just how I felt. That's how I've always gotten, and I always tend to go against the grain and it tends to be right. So um, I don't put my thoughts and feelings into things. I don't try to guess. I give what spirit gives. And right now, like I said, I'm using the cards along with my reading. Um, and I don't think I got the revenge in my reading, but again, I did that live and I'd like to revisit because I did feel like it was somebody that they knew or that worked for them or they worked with or something like that, I think came in the reading. And then we have witnesses may fear coming forward with valuable information. So that could be somebody that knows something, like the accomplice, and they're afraid to come forward, but there's somebody that might know something. And then we have the killer had an argument or disagreement with the victim. So I take that as a argument or disagreement with the family because they're also victims. So um and it goes along with the rest of the reading that this was some kind of breakup of a friendship, of business dealings, because we've got the money and stuff involved. So there's definitely money here. They were ticked off over possibly losing money, possibly just things going wrong. This is a rival person and they were seeking revenge. And this makes sense because the killer had an argument with them. So that ties up that whole situation that I just spoke about. Then we have fingerprints, spy, physical evidence, blackmail comes in again. So someone was being blackmailed or someone is being blackmailed. It's very possible that somebody knows something and they're being blackmailed right now. We have alcohol, so they probably drink. And then we have DNA again. So there is DNA, and the DNA came in twice, which that's what came in the reading, is that they were going to solve it through genetic DNA. So, I mean, this feels just like somebody that the family knew that there was some kind of argument, rivalry, breakup, and it ticked them off because I feel like money was involved, and they also took that rage and the perversion that they felt and did what they did. And I feel like, again, they probably were at the party because it it may be because the staged card is next to the party card, so it could be that they actually maybe figured out a way to get in during the party. But they definitely, I take egotism as like a narcissist. Like they definitely had an ego, but the happy card is next to the DNA card, so that's good that there's DNA. I feel like that's what's gonna solve it, honestly. But he was watching. He was watching, and there's trauma here. And I take that as like maybe they felt trauma. But the government might be involved. I mean, it might be have something to do with like that person might be involved, like in trouble with the government money wise or something like that because of it. I know that they're more affluent people, so it's very possible. Not that they're necessarily in the government, but there might be some kind of plus, we go into the FBI and stuff. That's also government. Um, or they might have had problems with the government in the past, like taxes or something like that. So I pulled a few more cards, and the work card was the first card I pulled. So this is connected through their work or business people that they know or not. Then we have the crime of passion card, so it makes you wonder if there's not some sort of crime of passion involved with that situation. Then we have the justice card. So justice is going to come, I think, because of the DNA. Again, that came in the reading. So this is just validating that part of the reading. Then we have a cover up, and we have blackmail again. So money, blackmail is all involved in this. And the thing is I feel like dad may know, but doesn't realize he knows. Like he's probably not thinking about it or realizing that it's gonna, and they may have tried to blackmail him in some way, shape, or form prior. Not necessarily having to do with this, not necessarily having to do with his daughter's case, but it might be someone that like tried to blackmail him prior or something of that sort. And that, or the blackmail was covered up because there's a cover up card next to the blackmail. And the crime of passion, you could take it as somebody also, they had the perversion card towards JonBenet, so it can be also that as well. But there could have been some sort of affair as well in regards to somebody that was. So, I mean, it does come across again as somebody that was ticked off over something, and definitely money and blackmail is involved with the reasoning of this, besides the perversion zone. But it seems to be just things that are swirling around. So, all right. Well, that's my opinion and the card pool on JonBenet. Um, and hopefully that's helpful and that makes sense. And I appreciate you guys supporting me on my new endeavor. And remember, I'm just listening to spirit. I'm just trying to do what I'm told to do. I feel like it's going to help me understand cases in another way. It'll help me build up on my readings and on my cases, and it will validate my readings and my cases because sometimes I have a hard time believing what I get. So the cards are there to be a validation tool and an extension of me. So, and again, I don't have all the fancy stuff, but we'll get there. The point is the information is what's important. So, thank you for being around, liking, subscribing, sharing. I appreciate you all so much.